has chosen the storyline spread for your general monthly reading, which is a scattershot across the entire sign, telling 3, 4, or even 5 different stories for people going through different scenarios this month. The stories can be about any topic, so the floor is wide open. People say that often multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but the main goal of the storyline spread is to find that one story that is all about you. And that is what we're gonna do today. Welcome in, guys. So good to have you here. My name is Scott Sagent, and I am ready for your July 2024 Psychic Tarot reading. First order of business, let's get those cards on the screen for you so you can take a look as I explain this different format this month. As you notice, I'm not here in person. I am in an audio reading because I had a little bit of an eye injury. Don't worry, I'm just fine. However, I'm not so hot to look at right now. So we're going to do this a little bit differently this month. It's going to be a little interactive, different vibe, different feel to it. Some of you might really enjoy it, I think, because you're getting the point of view from my side of the table and going card by card. I might even throw in some graphics to illustrate certain points as we go. And don't worry if you don't see the cards that well. I know the screens, sometimes we watch these videos on small screens, our phones. Maybe you don't see the cards clearly. I'm going to make this in a way so that even if you're just listening to me, it'll make sense to you. So let's get started with your reading right now. Okay, Cancer, let's talk about some storyline spread, and let's talk about your July. Let's find the story in here that is right for you. I have these broken up into 3 different stories, a little hard to tell because I try to get them all on screen for you where these stories break up. But you can kind of see on the left, that's a pretty clear story. And then on my top middle is another story. And then the bottom right corner is kind of the third very big story. So let's get started. Story number 1 all the way on the left. The attachment card is actually the person that comes in here, which is a Princess of Swords. Okay, in other decks, this is a page, but in this geometric deck, that's what I call it, that I use here for you, or that Spirit chose to use for you. This is a princess. In other decks, it's a page. Princess of Swords. So this is a person, actually, because you can see I have another card tacked behind that. So that indicates to me that we're talking about a person and not the energy definition of the card. So we have a young person coming in here. Why are they coming in? If you have a young person that's very prevalent in your July, very strong on your mind, big focus right now, maybe the kid at school, getting the kid, straightened up with this and that, something like that. That is what we're talking about here. It's for attachment into story 1. And just jumping ahead, this is more than likely a female, young female. You could be the young female, and they could be talking about like your mother, your father, a generation gap older, but more than likely the main push here is that they're talking about somebody else who is a younger person and a female. I know that with my yin card at the very top. You can see the very pink kind of flowy cup, and that indicates the female energy all over story 1. So that's who they're talking about. That's to let you know if this is potentially your story or not. They show the star card inverted, so this is a card about kind of wish fulfillment, hitting a snag, hitting a speed bump. Things maybe not going her way right now. This is also the card that's really about her choices going on. Makes me feel more that we're talking about teenage level here now, or maybe like young adolescent, maybe even in 20s. But this is definitely like, it reminds me of the rebellious stage, something like that. So this is somebody who is, they're just making the choices. It's basically saying that this is not fate. This is not driven by momentum. This is not driven by spirit. This is this person making their own life decisions. And you know what? They just got to live with what they got to do. And so do you in this case, because you're not going to have the total control of what you're trying to do here. Now, you may have an influence, and that could be why Spirit is talking about this. Maybe they want you to do something good with it, be constructive, keep a relationship, even though it's going to be maybe challenging to do that in July. We have another moving part in here with my Ace of Wands. You can see that is also inverted. So that's letting me know that this is blocked, it's segmented, the energy is not coming in clear. What does this card mean? Well, this is the card about new work, new job, new beginning with entrepreneurship, maybe even classes, schooling, different classes, different kind of hobbies and interests perhaps, or any kind of work corner bubble stuff. So coming in blocked like this, it's either saying it's not the best time for it, or it's stagnated for a different reason. Maybe this happens later. Maybe there's a better job opportunity for this person later. Maybe they need to do something first. Maybe they need to get schooling done. Maybe they need to get certified for something before. So you can see the kind of the moving parts in here is that it's not complete, or it's not meant to happen in July, or maybe just August is a better time for it, or beyond. Okay, so that's our story one. Probably not for most of my cancers. It does feel very specific, and that's fine. That is probably the best time to tell you too that is why a general reading is general. If you're looking for messages that are personal, private, specifically only to you and not all of your Cancer friends in this bubble energy, I offer a wide variety of personal, private products, services on my website, scottsagent.com. And actually in July, guys, I'm blowing them out. Big sale, 40% off any service. My most popular My Month that talks all about your month. Any of the services, not just that one. You use the promo code at checkout, July 30, July 40, 40%, not 30. Even better, 40, July 40. You enter that at checkout, that will knock off 40% off of any of my big services, small services, any of them all together. Take advantage of that. It is the biggest sale that I ever do. A lot of people needing divination work in July. Let's get into your next story, guys. Story 2, which is the top of your screen. The first card I have coming in here is the Three of Cups. It's kind of my lower card. It is also blocked, inverted. This is here because this is talking about social health, okay? We are social animals, and we need creatures, I should say, not animals, but we need social camaraderie with our human comrades. We cannot be off on our own forever. We would go wild. Some of us tend to think that, we can be off by ourselves in hermit mode and secluded. And maybe for a short time you can be. But at the end of the day, social life is important. That's what Spirit reminds us here with the Three of Cups inverted. So social life is way off. We need to get this straightened out here for Cancers in the month of July. So it's a good time if you've been secluded, you've been isolated. Good time to spend time with family, friends, loved ones. Get out there a little bit. Do some things. For others of my Cancers, this is probably a smaller part of you, but some of you have been doing overload of this. Way too much fun, way too much partying, maybe drinking, splurging, way too much on entertainment. Hey, we got to reel that in, okay? So either we're one way short or we're one way high. We got to get this even keel energy going on here, and the month of July is the time for it. If that sounds like you, this is probably your story. Let us continue. Moving on from there, we get into Temperance, which is the card that brought that in. This is the card of patience, being very timid when you need to be. Being very patient is the best word to describe it. It's showing temperance. It's showing cool and a calm, even when the situation around you is crazy, perhaps, or chaotic, or you got all these things happening, and hey, it's all right. It's going to be okay. You just go with the flow and you keep going. The next thing we have in here is another person card. We have people cards coming up all over your reading, Cancer, in every single story, in fact. And here I have, it is actually my King of Swords. So being a King of Swords coming in here, this is more than likely masculine male. Doesn't necessarily have to be male. It could be a very, very strong female. But this person is coming in inverted, so they're not happy about something. Or maybe this is it makes me feel more like friend, or like it could be a romantic push, but it doesn't necessarily make me feel that way. It makes me feel like, you just need to be there for me type energy. It's just like reach out. We just need to reconnect on some level. We need to, kind of get things back to the way they were before. So it makes me feel more like it's a friendship that maybe this is somebody you haven't seen in a long time, talked to in a long time. Good time to reach out in July, whoever this person may be, because they're kind of not feeling it so much lately. Maybe they feel a little neglected. The next thing we have moving up from there is my Five of Wands. It's a little hard to see with the glare, but this is the card about little human drama, little stick fights. Not a big deal, guys. This is just little stuff. It may not feel that way to you, and a lot of times that is why this card comes in, because Spirit is saying, hey, we realize that this isn't really ideal, but at the end of the day, what's the most important? Worrying about the little stupid drama stuff, or, having the relationship or having the friendship? That's the kind of things that matter most. At the end of the day, nobody, at your deathbed, nobody's going to say, oh, I wish I worked more. Oh, I wish I did, I spent less time with my friends and family. Nobody's going to do that. Everybody will say the opposite. So the Angel Oracle card that comes in attached to that at the very top of the screen, a little bit on the right, is message in a bottle. And message in a bottle means that the other side is trying to get through to you. They're trying to get messages through, make a point about something. Just message, plain telephone. Hey, good time to pick up the phone, right? Answer the phone. Answer your phone, guys. That's what Spirit is saying here. They're trying to get the message through to you, what you need to do with this person. And I believe that story 2 here is probably a clear way and a path for you to do that in July. At least I hope so. So let's move down into story 3, guys. Story 3, my big one. Bottom right corner. I'm going to move a picture of myself over on the left so you guys can see this part of the screen. There we go. Okay, so we bring in the attachment card first is 8 of Pentacles. It is coming in inverted. This is actually one of the ones that we like to see inverted. This is showing me here easy money, easy work, perhaps both. So if things have been going very good for you, Cancer, financially, things have just been flowing really nicely, whether it's just like a windfall, or whether it's just, hey, I've worked really hard for this and now I'm enjoying it. Whatever that is, it's showing very good financial moves here or push in July. I like the way that looks. That comes in with my Strength card too, which is showing courageous push. You have all the tools. Perhaps some of you need to keep doing that, because anytime we have such good stuff in tarot, we want a continuance of it. We want to keep seeing that good stuff come up in tarot. So this is the Strength card that's saying, hey, just keep being strong, keep being bold, go for it, take risks, that kind of thing. You have all the tools. You're not missing anything here. So anything you're trying to do in July, guys, remember this card. This is the card, the kind of lion or lioness energy. Be ferocious in your month. That's what they're talking about. Cancer, I'm looking ahead at your extra reading, and they have a Messages from Heaven for you guys. We're going to be dropping that in about a week to 10 days from this release. 7th through the 10th is when I release that usually. And you guys are getting a Messages from Heaven from a female. So there is a female deceased loved one of at least one of you, Cancers, possibly a few, that is trying to get through to you. It makes me feel like story 2 because we had messages or message in a bottle. And that is messages coming through from the other side, just like Messages from Heaven will. So make sure you guys check that reading out in about 10 days, 7 to 10 days. We have, coming off the Strength card, we have the Prince of Wands. This is another person coming in, guys. Another person. This is usually in the 20s to 30s range. I don't like to tie that down too tight, especially in a general reading. But that's what the Prince means. The Prince is the Knight in other decks. Coming in inverted. So this person is not doing so well. They're not happy about something. They're not feeling something. I'm not sure what version of this is, but it's letting you know that this person, if you can identify who it is, they're not so much happy about something. Perhaps there's a reason to be that way. Because the next thing I show here is my Heartbreak card. It's the 3 of Swords. It is inverted, so it is the kind of the more minor heartbreak. It is not life-changingly devastating. It is not that hard, but it's still not fun. It's still not fun to go through heartbreak no matter what variety it pops up with, and that maybe is what this person is going through. Maybe you too. Maybe both of you are going through this, but they're just going through it a little harder. Now, behind that, they do show my King of Pentacles. Very interesting card to come in because he represents big money, big coinage coming in. So a good influx of something. So it almost makes me feel like a funeral and an inheritance in a way, or at least the energy of those kind of things. It's kind of like the good with the bad. It's like, yeah, I'd rather have my loved one here than the money. But that's kind of the push of the to and fro that we have here. They also show next that there is... This is a strangely happy situation, but it doesn't feel that happy. And not just that, but something is in the way of it too. With my 10 of Cups, you can see the woman kind of sitting upside down. In other decks, this is a very pleasant card. In the deck they wanted me to use for you here today, this one is not so much. Or it's just not, it should feel better than it does, but why does it not feel better? Something's just off about that. A lot of times this is your own perception. Maybe it's something that you're holding in your heart for too long, past the point of its prime, past the point that it really does you justice, does you any due diligence. So this is more of an internal thing. Maybe I'd ask my story 3 Cancers here to really kind of take a deep dive into what this may be and what is getting in the way of your happiness and joy here, as well as maybe this younger person here, or depending on your age, I guess this could be an older person too, 20 to 30, depending on your age and perception of how they're doing. And they show mending here, so there is definitely a healing going on. this other person, maybe both of you guys. Mending is like, it's putting things back together. It's very nurse energy. Okay, so really kind of trying to heal, really trying to put life back together and put the pieces back together. Or maybe it's to build something better. Maybe it's to build something for the future, and maybe it's all of it at the same time. In a general reading, you just never know the direction, so the main part here is to get the context of what Spirit is trying to tell you and what story they're trying to tell you it in. Now let's get into your runestone, guys. Hard to see the runestone because of the glare that is on the left side of the screen, but this is the rune of partnership. So they're letting you know it is time to do something with somebody else. We talked about that by there is a person involved in every single story, Cancer. Why is that? Because of partnership. You gotta stop being alone if you're being alone, okay? This is the time to be around people in the month of July. Do things with at least one other person. That is the minimum, okay? There is no maximum, but there is a minimum. So that is the push here with the runestone. It just kind of further illustrates the entire reading, how important that people are to you, Cancer, in the month of July. Get out there and see your people. They love you. You love them. Go do it. That's what we're talking about here. So that pretty much wraps the whole thing up, guys. Their moon cycles is going to be on my website, scottsagent.com. It's free. I always put that together for you, the moon cycle cheat sheet. You can also find chemistry tracking on my website that shows what sign Cancer is kicking well with, and also repelling, what signs you need to look out for in the month of July. All that stuff is available on my website, guys, scottsagent.com, on my Talking About page. That wraps us up for here, though. I hope you guys have an excellent July. I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.